Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. What's going on out there, traders? How we doing? Ready to get back to the action today? We got another exciting day for you guys. It's going to be a great one, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm finally getting to go home. Yes, last day in the Airbnb, ready to get back. And you know, a lot of times you take vacations and, you know, they seem really grand and everything. But to tell you the truth, guys, I'm ready to go back home. I'm ready to get back into the home office, you know, have the full setup, but ready to get after the market today. See what we can come up with. Where's the green? Let's take a look around in the market. Let's see what we can find. We'll talk a little bit about the playbook today. We'll take a look at different action. We can take a look to see what's definitely moving in the market today. There's a lot going on. But, I mean, it's mainly all on the semiconductors as Taiwan Semiconductors is getting a big push today, getting the market to get a nice little bullish lift. And, of course, we've had a pretty much rough kind of last 2 days, right? And so we're going to look to see, can we get a nice little lift off today? We'll take a look at some of the charts out there. Let me go ahead and get my shared screen ready. I didn't get that ready, so let's get this set up right quick. And we'll take a look at some of the stocks out there. What's going on out there, Jane? How we doing? Eli, it's good to see you guys. Good morning. And congratulations. Yes, definitely a huge relief. Actually, I already was able to get the wife and the twins over there. Now I'll be packing up and heading out of here. One thing I will let you guys know, I will be having Tim join at 10:30 as I head out and start getting ready, and got to go ahead and start getting everything packed up and get out of here. All right, but let's get to the market. Let's go take a look at what we can find today. What are we going to trade, guys? I mean, it was a wild ride yesterday. Let's take a look here. All right, guys. So yesterday, of course, back and forth day for me. Still lost, right? You guys can see it. I'm down on the limited account, but hey, it's been small, right? And that's what matters, right? It's just staying in the battle, right? We've had a little bit of some 2 small red days. Let's see if we can get 1 green day and get back to green on the week. I will be watching, maybe see if I can get into some swing trades. Swing trade accounts still doing great. Still want to take more trades. I was thinking about shorting drug overnight yesterday. I did not do it. Let's see how it would have turned out. You know, I didn't even take a look at it this morning because it just wasn't going to be a trade that I was going to take. But let me just take a look here. How we doing here on drug? Go to the auto here. All right, so it seems like we're around the same price levels, 26, 27. So it didn't seem to go far. We'll see. Maybe this can recover today. I'd keep it on the radar, team. You never know what's going to happen here. I'll tell you that much. So definitely keep your eyes on that action. We'll see what happens on drug and different small ones. Staff this morning looks like it's shooting off through the moon. Let me take a look at the action right now. Look at it going. 380s. This has potential. This spiked up there to $5 earlier. And I've seen this thing run before. I mean, we'll see. Already getting a little lift here at the $4 spot there. I'll tell you one thing. It makes me excited. It makes me want to go trade right now. But we'll talk a little bit about that and take a look to see what happens there. But the nice little move there in staff already getting a nice little jump there to the 430s. Can I get to the 450s? Let's go. All right, Pixie pulling back to the 15 after a nice little run there. That made it all the way up to 18. So definitely Pixie really got a good move there. You got VS to ME. I even saw some news out there on Victoria's Secret that they released their event again, and that was giving them a lift. LAC was having a good day yesterday. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Or actually, let's go to a little bit further back here. Let's do like about a month of data here. All right, there you guys have it. Let's go to the daily chart, see how it's acting. And yeah, definitely a good day yesterday. We'll look to see if it can continue today. It got a nice little jump. We'll see if this can push. I mean, it's nothing that I think we got to jump at today, but we'll be watching. Of course, a lot of the action is going to be off of TSM. Let's go to my main charts. Let's go to the TC charts and see what I have there. TSM, of course, really big push here, guys, up there towards the 0430s. So we'll see if this can continue just riding high. And this is why I was talking about it. Like, keep an eye on TSM, because it was either going to be Nvidia or TSM that we're going to continue to lead higher. And it seems like it's TSM leading the move higher, and now Nvidia starting to play actual catch up. So watch for other stocks to finally make a reversal back. AMD is one that I'll be looking at today. I definitely think that this could be on the radar, could get a nice little lift, and could get a nice little spike back. So we'll be looking at the cues, right? As we look to see if technology can make a move right back. As just yesterday, in the last 2 days, it was looking, pretty bearish, right? And just like that, overnight, boom, you're right back at the top. Now, is this going to be a fade or an attempt to just breakout? And I think that you could get the breakout, because you have Nvidia going to new highs, you have TSM going to new highs, you have Apple trying to go to new highs, right? Apple's right there. It just quickly came off that right here on this 237.49 break. We could go right back up there and make a move maybe to 240 today on a big breakout. So is Apple on the radar? Yeah, you can watch it. 230s over here. It looks good for support. Could make an approach right back up to this high, 237.23, 237.49. Hey, well, could be right back up there today. So definitely one to watch there in Apple. We'll see what happens in other names in technology. But we can take a peek to see how those are looking. And you can see the MACD here looking pretty good also. So that makes me feel a little bit more confident. Microsoft seems to be bottoming for me, guys. And I think that this last little day yesterday was a really good level day to really take the sizing on, like, let's say a bigger approach, right? And then start to really get this to lift. So there has been some good volume as of late. I'm going to look to see if the MACD can cross over, but this looks good. This looks like it could approach right back here towards 440s. And that move alone was a nice little move higher, right? So I'll be watching this. We'll see if this can make that move there towards the 440s, start to make the move higher. That's already a 5-6% move. And then if it gets back towards the high, that's 13% higher. So that's Microsoft. We'll see if it starts to push back. Google's another one, right? You guys hear it in the show titles all the time. I think Google wants 200. Well, guess what, guys? I still think Google wants 200. So I'll be watching for this inverse head and shoulders to hold here and make another approach through 170. This time, it needs to clear it and clear it well. We'll see what happens on the MACD. Can that get a nice expansion higher? Doesn't look like a bad stock to kind of keep a really close eye on Google. So Tesla today could be the day that we finally do get a real strong bounce back. And today won't be the day that I'll be looking for the red to green. I feel like we got the red to green yesterday, and it held. It closed. It closed on a nice little move back up. So I'll be watching today to see if it takes out this high over here, the 223.34, going back towards 225. So if we can take that out, going towards the 225, Tesla looks good for potential long for me. We'll see what happens there on Tesla today. Feeling bullish a little bit. That might scare me a little bit. You guys know I'm usually a little bit bearish. Well, I'll tell you one area that I'll be watching for a little bit of a spike. I'm going to be watching for oil to do a little bit of a reversal pattern right back up. So you can see this XOM pattern. You can see how we rode up there, right? Then, of course, we got some negative news that started pulling it back. The Saudis making some mentions. And now I think we could get a little bounce back. So I'll be watching to see if this could get a nice little push back towards 123. And this could be definitely one to kind of catch an eye out for, right? It could just make a move maybe back towards 124, 124s and 125s on the daily. And then you're approaching right back here into this trend line, right? So definitely 123s in play. But I think you could even go a little bit higher, maybe start moving back up into this 124 and 125 range. So that's ExxonMobil, of course, the leader there. You can also take a look at Schlumberger. Reason why I like this one is because I've seen so many analyst ratings with higher ratings for Schlumberger. So this one's been pulling back on the weeklies. I've been waiting for this to make the move. Really, it needs to get back, like, let's say above 47 before this starts to look really good. But something to keep an eye out for in oil if we start to really get another push and a nice little spike in the price. All right. Halliburton, of course, can be traded very similar with Slumberjay, Slumberger. But we'll see what happens there. All right, let's take a look there at the industrial space. Of course, cat and deer is some that I've talked about plenty of times here, and I'm going to continue talking about them because I feel deer is just getting ready to explode through that 420 and continue going right back up towards all-time highs, which could be a move to 450. So from 400 to that 450, that could be a potential 10% there in deer. And Pakar continuing to hold tells me that, yeah, this could just be continuing to take liftoff. I'm looking for a pullback to the 105 to 103 range, but if I don't get it, Pakar might just make an attempt away from the 9 EMA like it did here, right? So it comes back to the 9 EMA, comes back to the 9 EMA. Will it come back to the 9 EMA this time? Or will it just take off through that 109 and start pushing towards 114? Very much could happen, especially if Cat gets to move also. Cat looks good also today, looking like it wants to come right back towards the resistance part of this kind of sideways pattern. It's made a blow off top before up towards this 403. Can we go back to the 400 today? It's not a bad area to keep an eye out for. All right, we'll take a look at the industrials, the utilities. Utilities have been on the hot rise, right? This came back down with the hurricane and then right back up in 3 or 4 days. It's right back up towards the high. So even Duke, that had a lot of exposure towards the hurricane, some people were concerned. Look at the action in Duke, straight up here. So definitely not bad moves there in the utilities as they move higher. Today, I'll be watching to see if the financials start cracking and start breaking back down. Goldman Sachs started going right back yesterday. Well, let's see if it just rejects right back today, right? So, of course, I was looking for that takedown on that day. We got in a move right back up. We could get a little bit of a fake out to the upside again, and then chapow, we're getting hit again in financials. So we'll see what happens today. Do we get an attempt move to 534s and then a rejection? That's kind of the area that I'd be looking at, and a move that starts to push above this trend line and then fails. It already kind of did that, so we'll see what happens if it really starts washing out at the open. But something to keep an eye out for is financials overall. Take a look at the XLF chart, and you guys can take a look at this. Look how extended this is on the upside. So this could easily just make a quick little pullback day. I'm not saying that, this is going into a bearish trend, but it seems extended to me, and it looks like it's getting smaller and smaller. If anything, it looks like a little bit of a harmy. We'll see if we go back to the downside in the 46.75. All right, that's going to be for your financial space. Let's catch up with you guys in the chat. How we doing out there, traders? What's going on? How we doing? Shane, you've been watching NIXX all morning, but got burnt. Never seen a stock level 2 so manipulated. Hey, Shane, I'm sure. Knowing you, man, you saw it out there. It happens. That's the truth, man. And I'm not going to, act like it doesn't happen. So pinky to you, man. Sometimes you just got to give it up. It happens. We all get burnt sometimes, man, and we all get burned on a trade. That's the crazy part about it, though, right? One thing that I notice is that, yeah, I'll have those tough losses sometimes and get caught in a name that I shouldn't have been caught in. But then I look back, and then all of a sudden I make like 2 or 3 trades. I'm back in the green, and I'm realizing, man, if I just never took that trade, I'd be big green. So, hey, just continue battling, my friend, and seeing what you can come up with today. All right, looks like we got another trader said it took a quick trade on that NIXX. All right, we'll be taking a look at that. Yo, Jan, what's up? How's the futures looking? You got to be my person. You got to come in, Jan, and tell me. All right, so oil is looking like this. I want you to tell me what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's moving up today, guys. That's on the Sunrise Report. I don't know if you guys caught it this morning. Of course, we could talk a little bit about what's on my Sunrise Report. Jobless claims came in at 8:30. I don't think that affected the market too much on the negative because we would have seen the action there, and I don't really see negative action. TSM, of course, getting that nice jump, 54% jump in Q3 net profit. That's why that got the lift. Discover Financials dipped 1%. That doesn't really mean too much to me. Lucid Group. And Lucid The dreamers out there, I call them. The EV maker dropped 10% after announcing a public offering of 262 million shares. Good Lord, man. Talk about dilution. Lucid Group, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Novavax, the FDA placing a hold on Novavax COVID flu combo shot trial, citing a nerve damage report. Not something you want to be seeing. People are already a little bit scared about taking the COVID vaccines, right? Well, the COVID flu combo, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want anything to do with that. Novavax, get away from that, man. You're going to get destroyed with that. It sent shares down nearly 20%, guys. So keep your eyes on that. And Bitcoin hitting 68,400. Can you believe that, guys? Definitely. I'm seeing that rally. And remember, I talked about it. I think Bitcoin could hit 100,000 before the end of the year. So keep your eyes. If you're looking for, maybe you're scared about the stocks because it's the presidential elections coming up. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Take a look at those Bitcoin miners. They're going to be looking hot. Coinbase jumped 7%. Mara, Riot, all continuing to push. I'm looking for hourly long pullbacks. That's part of my playbook today. Let's talk a little bit more about those names. Of course, let's get to today's playbook. All right, guys, smash the like. I got a couple more for you guys, and we'll take a look at some of these charts. Sorry that I'm not going back and forth. We'll go to the charts also and take a look at them, but let's start the playbook. All right, guys, let's go take a look. Of course, Goldman Sachs is going to be on that one, and I'll be taking a look to see if I can get short on Goldman Sachs. Of course, we'll see what happens with that one, but definitely got to keep an eye out on different names. CleanSpark, it's at the top, right, because of the Bitcoin name. So I'm looking for pullbacks on this. I've been looking for this since Monday. Monday, I was really starting to look at these names, but man, it just pushed through and I was in a different name. I think I was in SoFi at the time and wasn't able to get it. So it just continued and never pulled back. It has a tendency of pulling back though. And so that's what I'm looking for. Every time that we get these like kind of big expansion moves, we pull back, right? And so even when it, like, let's say rocketed, let's say back in this time, right, when it was really making the moves, you can see how you pulled away, but you came back to the 9. You came back to the 9, even when it was rocketing, right? Even in this time, right? You came back to the 9. So that's what I'll look for in this case, right? I'm not going to try to overexpose myself here at the top and then get caught. And next thing you know, boom, the stock's right back at that 9 EMA. But can I get that move, right? So that's anywhere in this space, back to 11, back to 1075. Yeah, I'll take a pullback buy. I might even take a swing trade on that because I want to hold this for a while. Because if Bitcoin does make a big run, well, this is going to continue to lift off. And it could be on overnight action that it does this move, right? And that's where it gets really tough. All right, we can take a look at Mara. Mara is up there towards 18. One thing I will tell you, everyone, to keep in mind is they do have a shelf offering. So at some point, I think if Mara makes it back to 26, they could drop that offering, or they could drop the offering at 30s. Who knows? I'll tell you one thing. They're definitely going to take their money when they have it available. Lucid, of course, taking that big hit there, down now towards 266. Man, this company is a zero. And I thought it was a zero at what? At 60. That's crazy, man. Should have bet on the downside of this company and just held it. All right, we'll see what happens on other names out there. Let's see what's going on in the queues now. Of course, we did get some numbers that come in there, but man, they didn't even shake the market at all. So definitely the upside in the market looking strong today. All right, time to catch up with you guys in the chat, and time, of course, to get things pumping. Let's go, team. What's going on out there, team? What stocks are you watching today? I want to see some more names out there, some more stocks. Let me know, guys, what's on the radar today. Let's take a look. See what you guys are talking about out there. All right, Pixie. Setting up for another leg. Okay. Don't trade any crypto. What, Jan? Come on. All right, so far so good. It's looking bullish so far with the futures. Copper is on the hard way down, and crude looking good. Yeah, I'll be looking good at crude today. Seeing if XOM could get a nice little jump. It's an important to catch the futures, guys. If you guys don't take a look at it, that's something that I'm even thinking about dabbling into and seeing what Money Mitch can do in the future side of things. It's the future, I tell you. Dell, ARM, super microcomputer, Shopify, Carvana. Okay. Well, if you had to only pick one of these, which one would you pick, guys? What do you guys like out of these names? Dell, ARM, SMI, Shop, Carvana. If I had to pick between one of these, I would pick Shopify. But that's just me. I like it long term. So that's what I would pick. What do you guys like out there? I'm seeing some names dropping right now. Jose dropping Apple, Google. We just talked about those two. We went through those charts. So, Jose, if you didn't catch that conversation, I would rewind because I literally just broke them down at the beginning there. But, hey, definitely look to see if Google can make an attempted move above the 170. Apple, can that get to a new high? You see, I know these charts like the back of my hand, man. NVIDIA, really looking to push, right? I struggle to play NVIDIA, but it's continued to move, and it looks pretty bullish today, of course, with TSM. Okay, we got an interesting mention here. Eli coming in with a good name. Hood, after yesterday's event. Honestly, I didn't catch that event, so great mention. I love when I get mentions like this. Let's go take a look at the chart. All right, let's go to it on Trade the Pool. We don't got to go anywhere else. We can go right there. All right, let's take a look here to see what we got. Hood coming back on the 26 and pretty much holding pretty well. I would not be struggling on this at all. I'm trying to take this off here. Let me take this off. Just give me a second, guys. I'll have to do it another way. But let's see what happens here, guys, as this starts to kind of make that move. Hood is something definitely to watch after it just continues to hold the pullbacks right now. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, right? Look for the trend to continue. If anything, it looks strong already. So one of the things, though, is, of course, that a lot of times you have a buy the rumor, sell the news. So will the event really kind of give it the next lift? That's one thing I'd be thinking about. But let's take a look here on TC. I can look a little bit further back, easier. Hood. Let's go here to the daily. Take a look where we're at compared to resistance. And I mean, in this area, you're pretty much in nowhere land. You could still keep going. So I think you got resistance, but resistance could be all the way up there towards 33s. So at this point, yeah, you keep looking for pullbacks around the 9 EMA to kind of play, but it is expanding higher. Could pull back today towards 25 or could take right back up towards the 30s. I think this is one that's already broken out, and you just got to be looking for some pullbacks now. But looks good there. Definitely held the morning support. Let's see if it holds that towards the open and then doesn't break that 26.75 area. All right, that's on Hood. Of course, coin looking hot as of late, holding the 208 and climbing, guys. This one's not a bad one. Could be right back up towards this trend line. Of course, it was up here towards 260. Look how quickly it's sweeping back up there. MSTR, of course, has been really taking off after their split. They're only trading at like 200. This just pulled back with the Bitcoin move, right? But this is leading the move. So we could see this make a nice little move today, right back to 220s. I don't trade MSTR too often, but I'll tell you what, the pattern doesn't look too bad to see this recover today, or maybe just make like an undercut and recover through the 190, right? Like it comes back through that 190, then starts to come right back up through 200. Look at the MACD, how it's been kind of building, pulling back, and now can cross right back over. This is not a bad one to watch here on MSTR. 200 will be definitely a good price to watch for the strength to come back in. All right, not a bad one. Shopify, how's that doing? This is continuing the strength move. and it's gone sideways now. Could take the next push towards 85. I like the action in here. Carvana, let's take a look there as that continues. 194. I've talked about how used cars are probably what makes sense right now because new cars are too expensive, at least for the normal consumer. We'll see what happens out there. Carvana just holding on to the 9 EMA. Just watch it to stay above the 50. It pulls back to the 50 sometimes, which is that yellow line that you see there. But very rarely does it pull back there, and it's held it pretty well. But look at that. As long as it holds the 50, you could continue riding the trend. The trend's your friend, right? And Carvana, it's definitely your friend right now. CarMax, probably the same thing, right? This one doesn't look too bad on a nice little pullback. I mean, it's not that I think that, used cars are the best thing ever, but the problem here is that new cars are that expensive, right? So this does look like it's in a little bit of a bearish trend. So I would wait for it to break the bearish trend. It needs to come back into this area, but it looks good. It looks like it's trying to build here. Just look to see if it builds a break though in this area, and then you could be back into like a real bearish trend. So just be careful on that. You can see how it's stuck in the middle there. Let's see it go back towards that 100 and wants to come back towards 160. That's not a bad stock to keep an eye out for in CarMax. All right, we'll take a look at some other names out there. Keep them flowing, team. I'll take a look at some of those right now. I did see some people bring up some smaller names right now. Let's take a look. There was a couple of names mentioned there just a second ago. Which one was that one? Look at that. You guys see me scrolling through the action right here. Double money Mitches in the morning. Let's go, team. So what was that smaller name? Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to catch the smaller name there. Knicks. Let's go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's go back to it here. Sorry, I'll be back in the home office, guys, tomorrow. Things will be back to normal where I got, nice 6 screens to work with versus 1 screen that I'm dealing with right now. All right, Nixie. That's why maybe Staff is up. Which one's up more, right? I think Staff is trying to catch up. Staff I like more here than Nixie, but that's just because of the long trend, right? This thing has a long trend right now. Pulled back right there off the 470s. Will it go right back up there to the 5s? We'll see what happens. Nix. All right, it's another staff and outsourcing company. Let's go to the 5-minute chart to kind of clean this up a little bit. And you can see the chart here. It doesn't look too bad. Definitely kind of holding in on this, right? You can see that. Tried to recover, tried to make a move back up here and kind of failed, right? So this was the pattern. And it came in and just failed. Now you're kind of in that ABC recovery mode. Can you get right back up here? You need to clear that 950 area. We'll see what happens here in NIXX. $9 we just recovered off that 8. Can it get 950 and go through the 10? We'll find out here. NIXX. Definitely another staffing company having a good morning this morning. Pixie right there. Another staff shift. Pixie, another staff one making a move today. It seems like there's an industry trend, right? Definitely. Industry trend indeed. This one's starting to come down, though. That could be some telling tale there. Staff, what will happen there? Can this one just come breaking down? Nix, will that break down now as we see these other ones kind of make the move? Look at this one. Now it's right back to 909. Will it get there to the 950s and take off? We'll see right here. NIXX, nothing that I'm probably going to trade on that one. But hey, it's looking good. These smaller moves, they definitely moved a lot this morning and moved a lot this week, right? Drug is still in play, guys, overall. Take a look at Drug. Let's go take a look at that hourly on Drug. And that's what keeps me on this watch, right? Because if you take a look at the hourly's still in play here. You can draw the hourly on this resistance. Draw it on that trend line, and you could have an easy spike back up to 30s today, or maybe it comes crumbling through the 20. There's 2 ways to play it. I'll be looking at Drug. There's ways to make money on it. You just got to be very careful with this one and quick. All right, taking a look around to see what else is making a move out there. Let's take a look at the biotechs. How are those trading this morning? Eli Lilly trading a little higher. And I think that you start to take a look at the XLV and thinking, what's going to happen here, right? You know, we've been in this kind of sideways trend after a recent kind of rally. Can we make another rally back? I'm looking to see what happens there in healthcare. It looks like it's attempting to hold this trend line and then get right back up. So if it can hold that trend line, make an approach right back up, some of these companies are going to be looking really good. I'd use RSI to help me find what's trending, right? So what's on the high end of the RSI is going to tell me also what's trending in this space, right? So look at Gilead. Gilead's on a nice trend, guys. Holy moly, Gilead making the way all the way back up. Look at this. They say there's no such thing as V bottoms. This looks like a V bottom to me. It doesn't even look like a rounding cup. This looks like a big old bottom. So nice move there in Gilead, almost to the top there. Impressive move. Eli Lilly loading up again. This looks like it's getting ready to go again, make another level, and maybe make an attempt back towards 1,000. I can see Eli Lilly getting there. So you can see how it's been pulling back. Just did this little undercut. That looks like a classic little undercut and rally. Good little volume on the pullback here. Looks ready to go. So Eli Lilly looking interesting for a move to like 935 today. We'll see what happens if it can get that push. VRTX, another one that's been sideways, can really start to go again. Has good news overall and continues to go higher. This is one on the swing trade that I'd be looking at because it just stays strong right now and could just push right back through this 500 and start going higher. A lot of volume on that undercut, which is a good sign. So you see how there's a lot of volume in this area. So when you undercut the support here, you got ads. It seems like you didn't get shorts to go in. You got some ads to go in there. And ever since that, look at the price action. It's straight up. That tells me more and more. And a big buyer stepped up here at the 460 and maybe 450 range. Not a bad one there on VRTX. Hey, healthcare is looking pretty good, especially some of these bigger names. All right, we'll see what happens with some of the other ones there. Johnson & Johnson, can that get going? Not a bad one to watch. Has had a big recovery. Could go right back through 167 today. I'll be watching it, man. There's a lot of these that are looking good in the drug manufacturer space. So we'll look to see if healthcare leads the market today as a sector. And then, of course, we can go playing it. All right, let's catch up out there, guys. Let's keep it moving. What do you guys got for me, guys? Keep throwing up some stocks. We got a lot to take a look at. It's 9:08. We're almost to the bell here. Let's take a look around. Let's see what you guys got out there. Palantir. Palantir is expected to break the all-time high soon. Good idea for a swing trade since it was added to the SPY index, right? Well, to tell you the truth, I played Palantir from 34. But did I hold it as much as I needed? No, I didn't hold it as much as I needed it. It kept going, and I thought that Palantir would pull back some. It did give me an opportunity to play it back at my entry. I got a good gain on it. I think it's a little too high up here to play a swing trade. If anything, I mean, maybe swing short, but that's just because I'm just savage. But we'll see what happens on Palantir. I think it's just at this point, it's a little bit too high and it's gone a little bit too far. It is riding an AI hype, so you never know how that can keep it going. But at this point, I think Palantir, maybe a little too much. All right, let's see what else is out there. How about Disney? Being strong, but affect Milton Hurricane made not much. I don't think it made much effect on Disney, but Disney already is struggling, man. The parks are struggling. It's too expensive, and they don't really have a turnaround in near sight. They need to figure something out. What's going to be that change? You never know. Give me 1 second, guys. Be right back. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Got the dogs with me. It looks like Nala is having a little nightmare there. Don't worry, Nala. We won't lose today. We're going green, baby. We're getting after it. All right, let's see what we can find. What are some other names that maybe have moved that maybe we stopped looking at? What about that Verb? I know Verb had made a giant leap, has been just completely asleep. Let's see if it wakes up. Will it wake up today? Look at this thing. This thing fell asleep. When they fall asleep, those are the ones I like to keep my eye on. They love to wake up and come roaring. We'll see what happens in Verb. All right, looking around, what other ones we can watch today? Basic materials. Gold was an interesting play yesterday. Started the day with a quick spike and then just dropped like a tank. Will this make another move back up? I think it could, right? Maybe it just tried to trap some buyers yesterday, and then now we start to make the move. If you take a look at the weekly, and sometimes I think gold looks better on a weekly than it does even on a daily. That's just random. Not too many stocks do that, but it just depends on what stock you're looking at. So if I'm taking a look at this on the weekly, I can see what? I can see more like a long-term trend line break, right? That's what happened there. Then we pulled back. We kind of held it, right? Now have been kind of going sideways here. So you're stuck in this sideways period, but you're above the trend line. So as long as you can stay above this support, you're still looking pretty decent at 19, right? And now you need to take an approach right back to the highs. So you can see how you can see this kind of trend line approach. Can you go back through that 21? So I'd be looking for a quick move through 21 as a really strong sign that you get that push, right? That you get that continuation going to the next level there on gold. We'll see what happens. It's been up there 1, 2 times. Let's see if it goes up there the third time and really starts to make the move. All right, going to continue to watch to see what happens there. That's the GOLD. Copper getting hit hard, I heard out there. So maybe we can take a look to see how copper stocks are doing. I'm sure they're going to be on the downside here. FCX on the downside there. You can see it. Another one that you guys can take a look at here. And that's pretty much SCCO. I remember when I called this thing down at 94s. This thing is on the downside. And couldn't break this gap. So I could see this thing coming back here towards 110 and below. There's a little bit of a gap here that it could definitely come to close. And if it comes to close this is a good opportunity, even on the short side. So we'll see if it can close back there towards the 107. Hey, there's a gap there to fill. Let's see if it comes back and fills it on Southern Copper. All right, let's keep moving. Let's take a look what else is making a move out there. We can go towards my charts. Let's go to Benzinga Pro here. Let's take a look at the scanner and seeing what's moving right now. I'm seeing BSME drug getting a little bit of a move in the last 5 minutes, but not much there. What other ones? WINT. I've seen that one move before. That's at 76 cents. We'll see if any of the Knicks show up or some name like that, staff. But those are not moving that much. SMR, what a crazy move yesterday. Continuing to watch those names. NNE will be a very big watch. Now these names are very kind of retail known, so be careful there with the nuclear plays. If I look on the right-hand side, this shows me more mid-caps that are doing well today. Wolf sounds good on that side. Of course, tech names doing well. TSM doing well there. NWE, an interesting name there. So I'm just looking to see what's showing up there. What kind of trends I see. SMCI, of course, showing up. So a lot of tech names in the up gap today. Dell, of course, there. We'll be watching some of these. Let's go take a look at how NNE setup is today. It's 9:14, guys. I'm going through as many names as I can before the bell. You guys do me the favor. Smash that like, and let's get ready here. We'll see what we can come up with. SMR, NNE. Look at the breakout yesterday. What a move, guys. Should have been watching this yesterday, as this was the top one, the trade yesterday. What a move, guys. And it started off with a fake out to the upside, right? Fake out to the upside, then a recovery. I like the hold of the VWAP. So you got this nice little up move, started, came down, recovered VWAP, right? Then came back down, tried to break down here on what? 1 action, 2 actions, 3. What do we look for? The 4th attempt on the downside. Did we get it? got a fake out here. Then it starts to recover the 9 EMA. Then it started to make the push, right? So you got to be careful with this one on the 1 minute. 1 minute patterns don't seem to be as clean here. So if I take a look there on the 5 minute, looks a little bit better, right? Looks a little bit more like you're recovering and then started to make a new pattern up here. So we'll see what happens on NNE. Can it come back today on the hourly? And it's already doing it, right? You're already getting that action on the hourly. Back down towards the 14's resistance. So I'd be looking for maybe an undercut through the 19. That's a good level to watch, or maybe just a recovery of 20 right out the gates. But for me, 19 but below seems to make sense there for NNE. SMR, also with a giant push there. Can these pull back? I mean, man, big moves there in SMR. We've been watching this thing for a while now. And it's crazy to watch these big lifts off. All right, we'll see if these can continue to push. Generac now. This is one that I think has gone maybe a little bit too far from the hurricane and might turn around in a wicked turn. It's done that before. I'm not getting in front of it right now, but hey, just something that I'm putting on a little bit of alert on the downside. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right, consumer cyclicals probably doing well right now. Even names like that are going to be doing decent. I know home improvement stores have been in a good area. Leisure has been a good area. This could start to pull back. How are the airlines doing? I know that they started to do well. And oh, look at American. Oh, good Lord. We were looking at American back here at around the 1150s, looking for it to go back and fill the gap. We drew this on when? We drew this on October 15th. This is something to look for, the gap fill, and look at that, already getting the push there. UAL had already been pushing. Look at the takeoff in the airlines. Yes, you're clear for takeoff. That means the ports are clear for the cruises to take off. And look at the takeoff in the cruises. Norwegian, just a freaking rocket. And I was watching this bad boy. Holy moly, I'm going to be upset about this chart. Look at that thing on the weekly. What a strong move there in Norwegian Cruise Lines. Carnival taking off. That tells me look at all leisure to see if it takes off. Airbnb on a little bit of a 2 or 3 week kind of take off. It's not doing too much right now, but it could get going today. I'll be watching this one. Nice little levels to watch right above it. 138. Can you get into the 140s and start to climb back? Hilton's already breaking out and pushing towards new highs. So I'm not worried too much about that in the leisure space. But overall, take a look at leisure. There's going to be some names that are starting to look good in this space, especially if you're looking at more like your, let's say your traveling companies, like even Booking, right? Booking. You need to do a stock split so I can trade you a little bit more. Expedia will be looking interesting. You can see how it's starting to get a nice little lift off there. Travel. There's so many names, guys. You got to know them all, but what's travel? TVL? Travel. TRV, the travels company. Look at this one. Pushing strong. I don't know, man. Leisure, not doing too bad, guys. Keep an eye out on the leisure space. I think that's a space that we can watch for. What happened with the China pullback? Did we get enough? Yes. Today's the day, guys. Today's the day where the China trade goes through that 50% retracement. It's right underneath at that 126 level for BABA. So really starting to get excited about that one. And it's going to give us an opportunity, guys, to get yin at pretty much full retracement, right? So I think I will continue to watch this, but I want to start nibbling in some of these China names to seeing what I can come up with. Let me take a fib retracement here. Where's my fib retracement line? Sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. I'm taking a little bit on this. Normally, I know exactly where it is, but there it is. Just looks a little weird for me. All right. So if I retrace that recent move, right, and I say 50% back for JD, that's going to put it closer towards 37. So that still has a little bit of drop there, but around 37, I like JD. I'm looking for these names. They just got to get towards that 50% and 61.8. We'll see what happens on the China names. All right, guys, 9:20 here, guys. What's going on? How are we doing out there, traders? It's good to see you guys out there. What's going on? All right, gave my wife. Oh, look at Tim out there. Gave my wife 1 share of NCLH as a part of a small basket after our wedding 2 years ago. Every time I see it, I wish it was calls instead. Wow, it's been on a tear. Might be an entry though. Yeah, this is one that I was telling you a lot of people that it just seemed to make sense investment wise because it was near the pre-pandemic kind of area. And I mean, honestly, this was one that I don't see going away. They've had so many new ships. They have so many like competition and they're gaining market share. I think they really can compete with Royal Caribbean. Maybe they're even better than Carnival already. It's something definitely to watch. All right, here's some names here. Jose's dropping them. Tesla, Intel, Amazon, Microsoft. Let's go take a look at some of those. I got it. I'll be watching some of those. Jane made a few bucks today early on Pixie. The crack stocks today are making the big pullbacks fast. Nix, Pixie, both. Yeah, they're both of these staffing companies. And these staffing companies, they're BS, man. I don't even think they have people working there. But I'm going to probably get sued for that later. Oh, well. Go to... Because the truth is, guys, let's be honest. A staffing company just popping off like that, that's just algorithmic volume. I don't think these stocks are going anywhere. There's no fundamental value in these. So, yeah, they're just pump and dumps, man. So we'll leave them alone. Let's see what else is out there. Let's see what we can trade. Definitely going to be watching the tech names. Look at my man Marley coming through. Hey, Marley in the house. You guys know him. Nala, go lay down. Come here. You don't get to get on screen all the time. What's up, Nala? Come here. Oh, look, you guys get to see Nala. The little lioness. The little lioness. Oh, there you guys have it. All right, Nala, go lay down. Good girl. All right, there you guys get to see the dogs on vacation. All right, let's see what we can come up with today. Oh, look, now she wants to be on camera, you know. Now she wants to be a part of the show. All right, let's get it, team. Shift Pixie acquires Turbo Scale. Yeah, guys, this is just a spending of money, and it'll look good, but I don't think it's anything to keep a watch on. And yes, you got to have the fur family, and like I always say, they were first. So I take care of them like always. They go with me wherever I go, especially if I'm out traveling. All right, let's get back to the markets here. It's 9:23. We got about 7 minutes left here before the bell. A little bit under 7 minutes. Let's go watch the overall market and see what we're looking at. All right, so let's go take a look here. Let's go to the SPY, see what we're watching right now. Look at the takeoff that we're in. We did get some sideways action in the Qs, but now it's like takeoff in the SPY. And right now, at least this morning, this is where it gets tough because these are the mornings where I kind of hate, where it's just like the whole morning it's been bullish. The whole morning, right? All this space, it was bullish. We might retrace some of it right at the gates. So these are those days where it's like, man, if only you played at 4 a.m., right? Because 4 a.m. was where? 4 a.m. was right here. So a lot of stocks have gone higher since 4 a.m. So the euphoria and the bullishness is like the herd right now. Everyone's looking at the bullishness. I mean, if you're looking at bearishness today, I'd love to hear it. Anybody's bearish today in the chat, throw a 2 if you're bearish. Throw a 1 if you're bullish in the chat. All right, I want to see those in the chat right now. I'm going to take a look in just a second, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, let me know. Are you guys bullish or bearish on the market today? Goldman sucks. because I want to short it. We'll see what happens there. Can this one break down a little bit today? Whatever happened to SoFi? SoFi hanging out at the $10. It went sideways here. Does it take the next step up, or does it pull back to 950? I don't know if I even want to watch this thing, man. This thing barely moves. That's the hard part. SoFi like sometimes goes like $1. So like it's like one of those stocks where you have to play it with big sizing, right? Because it's not going to move too much. MasterCard, Visa, can these recover? Visa put a nice recovery in. Look at that. So keep your eyes on this. If these can recover, the financials could go higher. And even though I'm looking at financials to the downside, that's why we're getting this quick recovery, because these big worry stories are going back down, right? So American Express looking great right now. As a matter of fact, had good earnings and still pushing strong. Nothing that I'm going to trade there, but it just tells me that the strength is right back in. All right, looking around, SLM, financial services, not a bad one to watch. Still looking strong there. Taking a look at the Qs. Qs are looking as strong as ever. Even going to erase all this. I mean, I think we can kind of get the worry out of the market until we crack 480. And right now, it's not looking like we're going to 480 anytime soon. So if we do go back there, yeah, I'll be a little bit concerned. But if anything, it looks like we're trying to make new highs on the Qs and pushing right back up. So got to keep a watch on it out there. We'll see what happens here. Quick move right back up there in the Qs. Let's see what happens. Zscaler has been strong lately. Holy moly. Honeywell, I've talked about it. This is on a breakout. Industrials are breaking out, guys. XLI is, look at the strength in the XLI. I like the deer play today. Honeywell with a nice move there. We could start taking a look at some other diversified industrials. So I'd keep an eye out on that to see how those are starting to move. Not just your farm and heavy construction name, but your diversified industrial names. Those are names to definitely watch. GE, ETN, PH, ITW, Illinois Tool Works. Not a bad one to kind of keep a watch there. ETN's already been on the move there. PH has been moving strong. EMR, Emerson Electric. Can this one get the move right back up? So we'll be watching these, as definitely Honeywell has been doing pretty well there, man. Impressed with that. Impressed with that move on Honeywell. 3M can make a little bit of a move. Look at this MDU. So looks like industrials are they're just rocking and rolling, man. So we got to continue to watch that. The airlines helped that. The airlines gave it a nice little boost. Watch for Boeing reversal to the upside. This has already been kicking in. I actually talked about that on my Trader TV appearance earlier this week. I talked about how, to tell you the truth, this looks like now more of a bottoming out trade than a breakdown trade. It doesn't look like it's breaking down big through that 150. It hit it, and then now coming back and reclaiming it. If they can somehow clear the labor disputes, who knows? Maybe this gap's right back up here towards 168 or 166. So doesn't look too bad there. We'll see what happens in Boeing. All right, guys, we got about what here? We're getting really close towards it. Looking to see what time it is. Let's see. All right, 9:28, 40s. All right, so we got about, what, a minute 20? A little less than a minute 20 before the bell. Time to get ready, guys. Time to get it going. Let's see what we come up with. Of course, going to be looking around. If you guys got names that you guys want me to look at, throw them up out there. I'll be looking around in the market today, especially right out the gates. Got to try to find some names first and then see what I can trade. All right, let's get going, guys. Let's focus in and let's get to the trading action. You guys know what time it is? It's time, guys. It's time. Let's go, traders. Let's get it. Bell's coming. Bell's coming. Not just yet, but I want to be already ready. So let's go. All right, guys, getting ready to rock and roll. We'll take a look to here at like Clean Spark. We can take a look at some different charts. We can look over at a different workspace, right? And put some different names out there and kind of take a look at the overall market, right? There's so many things that we can look at here out the gates. But I'll be watching also. I'll go to probably my TC charts for a second here. Let's go to the limited account and get ready to rock and roll here. Get ready to find a trade out there. Be watching the smaller names also. We're watching to see what happens out the gates with some of the tech names, right? Will these semiconductor equipment stocks that got hit hard on ASML, will they get hit hard again? That could be a leading indicator that the downside's coming back in. So look at Boeing taking off right out the gates. That's one thing I can clearly see, right? So industrials still looking strong. I'll be watching to see what happens in Deere to see if it just takes off there. Financial services leading to the upside out the gates, in tech and cyclicals. So those are the names. Utilities, of course, pushing higher. Healthcare pulling back there. Basic materials and energy pulling back here. So keeping a watch to see what happens there in XOM. It is pulling back. We'll look to see if it makes another move to the upside a little later. And then watching around some of these smaller names. GE is not looking too bad. Nice little spike there to 194.50. Just got to watch the trends, right? Watch the trends. And how did drug open up? Drug opened up on the downside action here. We'll look to see if it recovers. Maybe a little bit of a red to green off the 23. But you need to get some volume back into this thing. Look at the volume drop off in this thing. It is ridiculous on the volume drop off. We'll see what happens there as this traded 100 million shares and could be breaking through yesterday's low. We'll see what happens there. That's 21.26. And that Nix pulling back to that 782. Staff, another one there, trying to hold there. The trend line there is Staff on the $4 spot there. We'll look to see if this one can make the move back up to 5. I mean, you have the pattern there. The question is, can it make the move? I think they're looking for it. All right, let's go to some of these smaller names here. We'll take a look at that. Micron looking strong out the gates there. Drug bouncing back a little bit there. Looking around, guys. Verb getting a little bit of a jump there. Watching around. SPY now coming down a little bit there. Wouldn't you know it? A little bit of a pullback out the gates could very much happen here. I go to Staff, and there she goes really quickly up to the 460s. We were just looking at it, and boom. Boom, boom. Up there towards the 460s now. Staff making a little bit of a jump there. Nix on the downside action here. We'll look to see if it goes red to green here. The spread's a little wide on this one, though. Be careful on that one. And what about the Pixie? Pixie's coming back there. I think it's on a... Is it a halted? Yeah, halted on Pixie on the upside. So VSME pulled back there. It went to 370s, pulled back to the 330s. It's right back down. What a move on that one. Givo looking around. So watching around to see if there's any other move. And some of these smaller plays, definitely something to look at. NNE pulling back strong today out the gates there, guys. So quick pullback in NNE as it washes out some of those bulls. We'll see what happens there. NVIDIA up 2.9%. So big day there for NVIDIA and holding up right now. We'll see what happens. XLK is another one to take a look at today. Of course, technology ETF. So you guys could be watching that. That's on the pullback right now, giving you opportunities there. How's the VIX there? VIX pulling back a little bit there. Now getting a little bit of a spike with the pullback in the SPY. This looks like a good short if the market wants to come back up today. So to continue to watch it here. Staff, of course, got halted there. Q's quick down here, guys. So will it just come back into a worry, or will we find some bounce there? I think we could find the bounce, but maybe below this 493. So just be careful there, guys. Quick moves right now. All right, guys, might go for a VIX short here, guys. I'm looking at the VIX short because I still feel bullish, but I think we're going to get this first opening, like kind of takedown pop here for the VIX, but takedown on the overall market. Looking at the hourlies, trying to find where it can make sense for it to come back towards. It's like up here into this space. So somewhere up there towards like the 53.40s, 53.20s, and then a break back down to the downside is what I'll be looking for. You can see how it got the jump there. So looking for a little bit of a spike there back towards like 53.40s, and then it can come right back down. Let's go take a look at the market overall. There's the pullback cues to the 493s. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY, big pullback there too. So what's in the red? What's not? What's not in the red is financial services and healthcare. Energy now green, and that tells me XOM with a pullback and red to green move. There it is, guys. So XOM looking good on that first action. It just went towards the 121. I kind of like this, guys. I'm going to try to get onto this. And the only thing is more of a swing trade type of stock there. So I'm going to go for the swing trade on XOM. Let's try to grab a little bit of some XOM right here. All right, XOM. Right, looking good there. And I'm going to try to buy this on the pullback here. All right, just bought it there at the 121. Willing to buy a little bit more on the pullback, but just got there on the swing trade here. Just going to hold it right now towards the low, but want to add on this thing. Just need to get a little bit more pullback here. I'll put an add at 121.15 or 15s there. Just slightly above here. All right, just put an ad out there. I think it's going to get triggered like literally right now. So we'll see what happens. I put it up a little bit so it just didn't get triggered that immediately, but we'll be stop break even once that goes through and can just let it work there. So trying to set the swing trade here, and then I'll go looking at the day trade. Come on, hit that already. There it is, gonna hit it. Hit it. All right, now understanding what my risk is, 75 on that. That's not bad. I'll take it. Let's see what happens there. Let's see if XOM starts to make the move. Can also take a look at Gush for the day trade. Going to the VIX. There you go. Nice little move there, XOM. So oil looking good. Oil looking good. Chevron up also there. I see it. So that's names to watch there. All right, VIX there. Got there to the 530s. Yeah, 53.30s. I'm looking for 53.40s. All right, just trying to put out an order here at 53.40s to get a fill. Pushed it back a little bit here, guys. I'm looking to try to get an entry here on it, but I just need to also take a look at the Qs. How are the Qs doing, and how bad of a takedown is this, right? So you can see how it's a quick move back if it wants to come back, and it's setting up right now for a little bit of an undercut and then that move right back down. I want to see a spike here in the VIX, and then that's where I want to get in. Sorry about that, guys. All right, we'll see what happens here, guys. I see the VIXY starting to turn around here. I don't want to just jump too much too early. So I'm still looking to see that we can get that one more downside attempt here in the Qs. Can we get one more break here to the downside and then the move higher right back? So watching for it right now. On the 15-minute, you definitely pulled back there. What's the hourly kind of support? It's right around here on the wick, but I'm looking for more that body. So that's that 492.30s. 492.30s. Yeah, 492.30 seems to be making sense right now as that support, and it went right to it. Look at the takedown right back down on the VIXY here. So might have missed my opportunity to really grab it there at the 53s. It's coming back down in a hurry here. I'm still looking for one more spike back here. But if I just miss it because it's at 53s there, hey, so be it. I don't want to chase it too much. I'm looking for that one more attempt down to the downside and then get in on the VIXY. Short on the VIXY. Could also go and take a look at like today, maybe TQQQ on the upside. That could be a play. Trying to buy it on the next downside attempt. Things like that I'm looking at. Staff now to 530. So that's actually doing good today, guys. So maybe it is a good play to play staff today. It's not really my type of play, but look at it, guys. It just opened up there at 5. Oof, and look at the pullback on that. That is wicked acted. Wicked on staff, guys. What about Pixie and Nix? Nix is at 7, but I don't see too much going on there. I'm going to Pixie. Sorry about my internet struggles right now. It seems like I'm having a little bit of some internet struggle. Pixie down she goes. So seems like staff seems to be the only one there making the move. I'm going to VIX. Nothing on that, guys. So just gonna have to cancel for right now. I'll take a look at the overall market to see what's going on, but we definitely got a little bit of a bounce. Came right back up here. Let's see if we could get that downside action again to come in, or does it just continue to rise right here? So I think we can go a little bit lower through that 492 here. Let's see if we get it, and that's when I can get that short. No bounce just yet there. I'm looking for it and not getting it. Let's see what happens on the grid. And put the Qs on the left-hand side. Look at Drug getting a move up and then right back down she goes. Looking to see if the Qs are going to make a down move here or they're going to keep bouncing. Nvidia doing pretty well today. How's Tesla doing? Just take a peek. Ooh, it's red. She's an ugly one. All right, time to catch up with you guys in the chat. What's going on out there, traders? Ooh, have I had not the screens on the whole time? That's always great. My bad, guys. Let me get that back up to here. There you guys see the screens, right? Don't worry, no trades just yet. Looking for the Qs to come down here and make a double bottom and then start to work its way back. So come down, make an attempt towards the 492s. I'm looking for a little spike on the VIXY here. Going to be watching that. I am long on the XOM trade. So I am long on XOM. I got a nice little trade there, already up 50 bucks on the swing. We'll see what happens there. 121 entry. There comes the attempt right now on the downside for the Qs. Will the VIXY get the spike there that I'm looking for? Still not seeing it on the VIXY there. So the Q's pulling back here. Could start to get a move right back up. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Let's see what we got. Sorry about that, guys. Got the phone buzzing. All right, looking good. Let's keep it moving, guys. Let's go. I want to trade. Q's, do something. It's not doing anything right now. It's on the slow up. Come on. You're making me want to go trade staff, man. UPXI. What a jump on that one. That's a jump up, guys. Givo coming back. NNE still down pretty good there. Qs are coming back a little bit. Time to go looking around. There's a little bit of a drop. Man, I'm waiting for it, man. But it's like, come on, do something. Not, we're going to have to go trade some of those penny names. I want to go short staff. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Got to catch up with some of the comments in the chat. I have to open my YouTube on my phone. Come on, guys. What's up with the Qs today? It's on pause. There's a little leak. What's up with the staff? Oh, she looks like a short. I want a shorter. Oh! She came off that 540 pretty quickly there. Oh, I want to short you, staff. I want to short you. All right, let's take a look at the 15-minute chart here. So you did get that break, right? Pullback could be right back down to like the 4s. See if it goes to 6, 7. The Q's trying to recover. Woo! Nick's at 560s now. Pixie down to 10. This one's coming back a little bit wicked, guys. It is on the halt right now, but it's something to look at. ATNF just getting destroyed after yesterday's big run. Woo. ELV. Why did that take that big of a beating? That was a big beating. Look at the Qs, man. The Qs are coming back, but it's just sprinkle. All right, let's take a look here. Energy, financials leading. Basic materials back up. How's gold? GULD coming back, guys. Nice little move there in gold. Talked about how it could have been just a fake out washout yesterday. Could get to 21 today. It does look pretty decent. Industrials in the red now. Technology in the red still. Real estate looking like it's dropping fast. So is utilities. and defensives. So getting some pullback in those strong areas. Pullback in Tesla, things like that. Definitely pulling back. GS, will that fall off now? I mean, the market's pretty red right now. Could go right back down here. We'll see what happens. I mean, it was starting to look better. It could get that spike still. Man, I missed that entry by about 10 cents. I was looking at 53.40s. Went to 53.30s, so it was close. AMAT by the VWAP. A lot of VWAP. Now NVIDIA is starting to get above it here. We'll see if it rejects and comes down. But TSM leading the up action there. AMD could be hot today. Could be hot. I've made some good trades on AMD on this account, so maybe I go for AMD one more time. How the Q's looking. Looking like they're coming back, but it's definitely a setup there. Qualcomm. Disney back. Look at these VWAP fades, man. The market just washed out the open, but it's starting to just stair step its way right back. How'd that staff do? It's up there again. Makes me want a short staff. Do I do it? Do I do it? There it goes back down through the fours. 490s rejection there. Come to 530s and then fail 5 again. Here's that 530 attempt. Oh, I don't even think I could trade it. I don't even think that's tradable for me. Oh, it is. I don't know why the color is off for me. All right, it did go through that 530s, failed. Now back towards 5 here. Going for it, guys. Just shorted it, guys. I just shorted staff there. Ooh, there we go. Nice little first action on the downside here. Just watching my risk right now. Would like to see it stay now below 5, guys. So this is a smaller trade. I only went 100 shares. Trying to keep the risk into play here. Needs to reject that 530s and then just start going down through the 4s. All right, getting a little bit of a squeeze here. Just got to know where my risk is, guys. There you go. Back above 5. Just watching it here. Just see one more rejection back below this. It cracks through my level again, guys. I'll look for another ad and then I'll hold break even. Could get a $30 stop out here. It's really close to stopping me out. Setting it there, guys, because it's just dangerous. All right, coming back to my level now. Does it break 5 here? Oof, that was a quick sweep back up off the 5 right there. Yeah, quick sweep off the 5. Be careful here. Back through the 530s. I think it's a breakout here. So I'm just putting my thing right there at 535s. It could trigger me there in between the spread, but $480 stop to add, $480 stop to add. Hands off here, just watching it. Taking a shot here, guys. Let's see what happens. So if it just comes down, it's going to trigger my 480 stop add there, and then I'll get another 100 shares, and then I got a break even stop, but it needs to be a momentum breakdown at that point. Let's see. I don't trade these often, guys, so I didn't see much movement right now. I'm going to go back to the market because I can take a look at it right now. Let's take a look to see what happens there in the staff. But let's go to the Qs really quickly. Downside action finally came in the Qs, so I will get that spike in the VXX. At some point, I might look to short this, but taking a look at the action, it does look pretty red action right now, guys. We're seeing that downside come in. So now it makes sense to maybe look for that bank short, but we'll see what happens there. Goldman Sachs looks like it's just bouncing there. Could do another attempt to 533s and then get the takedown there. So might take a look at the swing right now in that. That would be on Goldman Sachs, but of course, with ExxonMobil, I'm just using a lot of my money on that swing. So we'll see what happens there. Taking a look at some other trades out there. Let's keep it moving. Let's go back to the trade right now on staff. All right, guys, just canceled my stop now. I'm looking to see if we can break down through this 5. There goes the first action down towards the 490s, but it's holding here. So a recovery here, and I definitely want to get out. Got to be careful on both sides here. All right, tightening down now, guys. Tightening down. In a second, I'll be break even, but it just broke through my entry. So now I got 200 shares. I'm looking for a real breakdown here. There we go. Nice little first action here. Now I'm only $9 in the potential breakdown here. I'm looking for a nice little first profit today and not going to go and push too much. 133s if I can get it here. It's coming back to my entry, so I'm not going to let it go into the red. If I need to, I can re-short it here. Got to be careful if it comes and gets me here. I'll give it 20 bucks here just to give it a little bit more. Come on. Just canceled for a second. Keeping a really close eye on this, guys. Try not to show my hand here, but it's going to come out towards me really quickly here. Can't let it recover on me, but I'm just watching it right now and really just keeping an eye on it. If it comes back to those lows, I'm golden. Let's go. Let's go for a down halt here. Let's go. All right, first action looking great here. All right, now break even, stop. Now I can't lose on the trade. Just looking for it to go in my direction here. Let's go. Let's go. Get a nice little first breakdown here. It's coming back. Watching it. Canceled the stop there. Not to show my hand. Not wanting to break down. When it doesn't want to break down, it could come right back to the resistance. So you got to be careful there. Come on, staff. Let's go. Do what Pixie did and go back down, baby. Looking pretty here. Let's go. Let's go. Taking the target profit off just to give a little pressure off here. It's looking like it's coming back. I'm leaving that break even there. I don't want to get caught on this. So this is a good trade if it goes in my direction. If it doesn't, it's break even. And we keep trading. Canceled for a second just to give it a little pressure off. There we go. Come on. One quick sweep to the downside through that 480s. Let's go. Doesn't want to go, guys. It doesn't want to go. And so if it doesn't want to go, it's probably going to come against me here. And so I'm okay with just leaving it at the break even right now and just seeing what happens. Sometimes I can't make the market do something, right? Even if I got a good entry, I'm just going to let the market determine right now. Is it going to give me that move and come down here and give me a nice little 200, 170 winner? Or is it going to come against me here? So I've been, one of the things that I've been looking at, guys, and of course I talk about this all the time, is taking like review of what I've been doing, right? My execution, my system, and how am I actually, the results are coming along. I need to start taking more and more of the 170 profits. So if I can get that here, I'll take it, guys. All right, nice little first push. Nice little first push. About to drop here 170 and just see if it comes to it. Let's see it. There's a nice drop there, 440s now. All right, guys, in a second, I'm going to secure 50 bucks here. I could get maybe 80 bucks right now. 95. Okay. See if we get this one more push here. There's a nice little push. Oh, trying to take it off here, guys. It's going to go into a halt. There we go. Let's go. Take the money and run. It might go in a down halt and keep coming down, guys, but I'm not going to push my gains today because, dude, I've been doing this too much. Been trying to push to 200, not taking the 170. I said, you know what, today, Mitch, don't do that again, guys. 174, we'll take it and keep moving. Good short there on staff. Only 200 shares needed. Nice little trade. Now it can bounce back. It can do whatever the heck it wants. Can still try to trade it if I wanted to. What could happen now is a bounce to 5 and then another takedown. But I'm going to watch it here. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think about that trade? Not a bad one there. All right, time to catch up with you guys in the chat. What's going on out there, traders? How we doing? Done for the day? Was red? Hey, new day tomorrow, man. No worries. Get after it. Mitch, are you actually a nerd outside of trading, like gaming or card games? Well, it depends. It depends what we're talking about, right? Because what I am more is the nerd part of this. I would say I'm the type of person that loves to go 110% into something, whatever that may be. Maybe I start to learn, like right now, I've been learning a little bit of flight simulator action. So I'll learn a little bit of that. I'm a person that loves to be a learner. That's one thing I definitely do. So if you tell me we're going to learn about gaming or we're going to do a card game, I'll probably learn every strategy there is to that card game. Things like that, Jan. Nice short on staff. Appreciate the love, Michael. Yeah, it was a good one. I really didn't want to go for it, but man, I had to, man. I had to. Tesla daily looks bearish. Flag. We'll see what happens. Carvana, can it keep running? This new platform update is full of bugs. The candles are disappearing. That's one thing I will definitely get towards the team, guys. That should not be happening. We'll definitely reach out to them and let them know that there's some issues there with the data, but definitely they can fix it. All right, BX, AMXR, LEU. We'll take a look at some of that. Let's get back to the action. Let's see what I can come up with. Of course, I only got till 10:30, guys, so let's see if I can go do another quick trade. Let's go. Staff back to 5. I'll take it and short it if it comes back to 5. But it needs to come back up into this spot, and then I can re-short it. All right, let's take a look around to see what else is making a move on the day. Cleveland Cliff is making a move, guys. Steel pushing higher. Woof, look at the move in Cleveland Cliff. What is going on there? All right, guys, let's go to the main charts here. XOM starting to pull back there, taking a look to see what is changing in the situation here. So what is going into the green? Pretty much nothing. Everything red right now. Ugly, ugly day right now. Now is when I'll start to take a look at the VXX short. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's go take a look at that. VXX short. When everyone starts to get bearish, or bearish, because where we're at, I'm going to go ahead and take a short there. All right, guys, just set a quick trade here. First starter on. Yeah, the candles are a little bit buggy today, guys. Be careful with that. So if you want, you can use different charting, right? So that's one thing that I'd always recommend you take a look at. So I'm going to do something right now to help myself out, right? So I'm going to detach this. I just got an entry there. So I'm going to detach this. I'm going to go to my charts here. And look, I got it right here, right? A nice little order box here for me. So I do got to adjust this a little bit here. So let me adjust this. This is why you got to have more tools in your tool belt than just one, right, guys? So here you guys have it. I'll be able to keep up with the action here and still take a look at the chart, still take a look at the trade, right? What I'm in, what do I have, what I'm working in, right? So those are all things that I can look at. Let's go ahead and detach this to help myself out. Boom. Boom. All right. Now I like that first action here, guys. I'm going to go for another add right there, guys. I just added. Now I got 53.38s. Want to hold off the 53.60 action. Not going to let it go through the 60s, but looking for the cues to make a quick recovery back here. So you could also take a look at Soxel to be a name that kind of gets a nice little pop. TQQQ, another way to take a look at this. I like another bottoming here and then a quick move back up. So we'll see what happens now. VXX just slightly in the red there. We can get a little pop here to 53, like kind of 60 area. Want to keep it slow first, maybe risk like maybe $70 and then really take the swing on the move back down here, or I can make a good maybe 200-300. We'll see what happens. This is a good looking trade here. Let's see what happens on this. look, everything's kind of bearish, and I'm thinking that the Qs were looking too good for that this morning. So I think we get another maybe undercut of this 492, and then we get to start making our way right back up here. I'd actually take a look at Tesla swing here just as a potential trade, but we'll see what happens here. Still watching it here on the daily levels. The daily levels keep bottoming. We'll see if it reverses back through 223s today. Definitely back through the 223 today. I'd like it. So I'm going to be watching that a little bit later in the day. We'll see what happens. 10-10, guys. Got about 20 minutes left here. Let's see. Keep trading. Let's see what I can do on this one. What happened to Staff? Did Staff make it back there? No, it's rejecting again here. Did it go back? Let's see. No, it just kind of held in here. It could just be a leak now. So looks like it's leaking, but I'm glad I kind of got out of it. Pixie came back up and could get short again. But Pixie's halting all around, guys. So just be careful there on Pixie. The XX coming back on me here. But looking for it to just boom and then come right back towards 53s really quickly here. $60s is about $40 in risk right now. So just thinking about that and considering the options, right? Always got to know what the risk is. All right, looking good here, guys. Let's see if we can get this to start breaking down through the 53.30s. Looking good here, guys. Now I just want to see the Qs start to climb back in a hurry. So I just want to see the Qs climb back in a hurry here, and then that will help my VXX short. I like the action on this. I'm going to go for it here in just a second here, guys. There it is. I just broke the 30s. I'm adding here. Just added. Now I got 353.35. So taking a little bit bigger of a swing now. Let's see what happens, where it can take profits. Of course, I want to make like another 170, another 200, something like that. So that's through 52.80s and 52.60s. So I could still add on this right now and then hold break even. I'm just watching it right now, right where I'm at right now. I can still risk towards the top end and still be within my range. So that's what's important. All right, let's keep it going. Pfizer, Microsoft giving me alerts. Seeing that down action in the VIXI, looking good here on the first action here. Want to add maybe potentially on a bounce there, but all right, I did see I think I'm getting someone to join up in here. Just a second here. I'll be getting my man Tim on. Let's see if he's ready to go. Tim, let me know when you're ready. All right, you can just add yourself to the screen if you want. You ready? Ready to rock? Oh yeah, man. What's up, man? How we doing?
Do this. Hey, doing pretty good. How about you? I feel
Not
like
bad
I need
at
to
all,
flip my
man.
camera. Man, is my video super choppy? Somehow,
We'll get it.
Showing
get it
up
going
on the stream. Yeah, I'll just try to see if something's eating up my process in the background. But yeah, what an interesting morning.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the action on Hood. I don't know if you peeked at that,
Yeah.
but I saw you talking about Futu, and so I'm wondering if that was I don't know. I wonder if Futu ran up with Hood's announcement last night, if it was sympathy for the, highly retail focused brokers, or if it's just with small caps in general, right? I look at Schwab and Interactive Brokers, right? IBKR was up. So that's super interesting. I see GameStop plummeting. So, but yeah, I was just looking at whether this was a wolf wave or not. That's a new formation I was trying to learn about, which I think it doesn't qualify on Robinhood. But yeah, it's interesting to learn about that, like the falling.
Is that a new Harvest Moon trade I don't know about?
Seasonal. No, apparently it's like a special case of the falling wedge. So I'm actually still trying to learn about.
That's what it is there.
Yeah.
I love it.
So says
man.
Bukowski anyway, right?
Yeah,
So,
man. Love to hear it. Not looking too bad, guys. Got a good amount now, guys. So I'm up about $50 already. So at this point, going to be break even. So this is my new rule that I'm going to start really applying is when I get up $50, break even no matter what. And I think that this is going to be a nice little rule to kind of keep adding towards my trading to try to help me continue to just risk very little and keep pushing the sizing, right? Because that's the idea here is that I used to never be that picky, but I've been getting more and more picky on the risk side of things and expanding on the volume size, right? The volume that I have, which is difficult, right? Because you get moves like this, right? Like where the VIX comes right back and could just click me out, right? But that's okay. I think what I've come in more and more understanding is that on those moments, it just could easily go and blow through your entry, right? And so the next thing you know, the next year you're risking way too much. So the idea for me in going in big sizing is to try to time the trades out. And that's the hardest thing about trading. Let's be honest, as day trading, the hardest thing is timing the trade, not necessarily finding a strategy that works. There's a lot of strategies that work. Can you time it right and execute it right?
It's like the joke. What's the secret to comedy?
Yeah, exactly.
Timing.
That
yeah,
one,
right? The delivery is a little hard to get right, but yeah.
No, it's 1000%, right? And doing live comedy and doing comedy at home, two different ball games, right? So things like
sometimes
that,
when
right?
I try doing live trading, that ends up being live comedy, but it depends on the day.
You know it, my friend, and it's a lot harder to do this live than it is off of camera. I will say that too. So let's see what happens, guys. I got a nice short on staff today. I did get that, so a nice little short on staff from 503 to 404. So not a bad little, like almost buck on the shares. So that's an interesting one. Looking to see what happens in the Qs right now. I was looking to see if the Qs would just bounce, and it was just like a fake out in the first hour of the day. So washing out the bulls because the pre-market action. And I talked about this before the market opened. These are the ugliest, and I hate these types of opens because everyone's feeling bullish. And guess what? It's been bullish since 4 a.m. So now when the market comes, it's probably going to wash out on us. And that's exactly what it did, right? It just washed out on us because the action in the morning was just too high up. Like the Qs just rose way too much in the pre-market for it to just continue going, right? So it's pulling back here and trying to find buyers. Let's be honest. So what do I think we watch? The tech stocks that we were watching this morning. TSM, look at that. That's doing well. That's not doing bad here. That's doing pretty decent. Nvidia can recover VWAP here and start to go. Apple is one that I'm looking for a rip to new highs, so keep an eye on that. Names like that, those three names. Look for ASML, that was the disaster this week, to maybe just stop going down, just stop bleeding. All right, if this can stop bleeding, tech can maybe bounce. And now if this bleeds another leg, it's it's like cutting an artery and then you're trying to stop it, right? So you're
I will say, I noticed TSM is doing the same thing it did the other day, where it's leading. Looks like it might be leading the semis up, right? Nvidia, AMD, ARM, all.
I think that's a great observation, Tim. That's exactly what I see, at least. Definitely leading the action up, right? So, all right, let's see here. Been having a little issues with my charts today. That's one thing that I think we'll report to. Some issues on the candles on some charts. Some of them are doing well, some of them aren't. So Maybe the new update gave us a little frustration there.
What tickers were you having a problem on? I just actually saw something in our back channel. So, and that's one of the things, like if anything happens, it's actually a national holiday for some of the folks in the back office, but they're jumping right on that as soon as they hear about it. So it's always people always need help.
It's weird because it could be just the charting, right? Because like this one's not doing it, but then this one is doing it, right?
Which ticker is it?
There, VXX. It's right there. It just
Okay.
jumped. You see it right on the screen. Like you see that action there.
Oh, okay.
So then, but this one's not doing it, right? Like this one has.
What size of candles are you using?
1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute. I didn't go into the seconds, Tim. Not yet. Because I know that gets a little tough. The seconds and stuff like that. So right now I'm just hanging out like up like 50, 60, and it's really based on the market now. If the Qs come back, I make the trade. If they don't, I don't make the trade. It's simple as that. I think that sometimes like we make things hard. Like let's not make it hard. Right there, it's the Qs coming back that is giving me the trade in the VXX on the downside. So now I just let it keep working until that comes away. And how can I know that? The 9 EMA. So you see how the Qs recovered the 9 EMA today? I'll just look to see them hold the 9 EMA now.
Yep.
As long as it can hold the 9 EMA, we're starting to trend back.
It's real interesting what you were saying there about the just always taking fit. Now, are you talking about scalping some as soon as you have $50, or just taking profit at the $50?
Well, I'll tell you what I've been working on, Tim, before I get out of here, right? Because I think it's important for our team to hear this, community hear this, because it's really how I always look at this like this, right? How can I teach, right? I can teach by bettering my own trading, right? And that's really what I've been trying to do, right? Is bettering my own trading and execution. So one of the hardest things that I went through is I got the sizing up in the main account with the extra buying power, where I was starting to go towards like thousands of shares. And then I noticed that, I can do that. But at some point, I need to go towards break even or very minimal risk. Maybe it's just a couple ticks, right? Because you get to this point where what you're trying to do is essentially only add that big monster size when you know that you're starting to get into the trade in your favor, right? As a good trader with experience, you can start to feel that, right? It's like an instinctual feel kind of thing. And what I'm looking for more is to slow size in, right? I worked on this for like 2 or 3 weeks. Then I worked on sizing up, right? And so the two options actually play together. So first is start small. Start with like, let's say if I'm going up to 1,000 shares, I want to start with 100 shares. Because when I get in that entry, even if it just goes completely disastrous against me, what am I going to lose? 40, 50 bucks maybe, right? Maybe lose like 40, 50 cents on the trade, right? And then if what I want to do is once it starts going in my favor, I want to add maybe that 200 shares. Now I'm at 300 shares. Now the risk is going to 70 to 100. That's okay, because now the risk goes a little bit higher, but I'm higher size too, right? And then what happens is as the risk goes, let's say it went up to like $50 in risk, and then all of a sudden it goes back into my favor. At some point, I want to add again the 300, or maybe potentially maybe going 300, then 300 again to get to like above that 1,000. At that point, once I go really big, I want to risk tiny amount, couple ticks, and then just let it go. And a lot of times I'm going to be manually trying to execute my stop. Like on this for the VXX, I'm showing my hand too much by just leaving it there, right? And it's up to you guys if you guys like to do that or not. I mean, there's this whole like, back and forth situation where if you should put your stops out there or not. I've gotten to the point where if I'm watching the trade, there's no need to have it there. I just need to execute it when I'm big sized, right? And so that's the harder thing to do, is to really stay disciplined. But that's what I'm trying to do. And so when it gets to a certain point, I also want to make sure that I'm securing profits, right? So like, let's say if I get to $100 up, I should put a stop loss at $50. If I get to 150, I should maybe move that stop loss to $100 by $50 tranches, right? Securing.
So like a manual trailing stop then.
Exactly. Exactly.
By the way, I'm happy to report, I don't know if this came up the other day, on the platform now, if you do partial, now if you add as well, but if you reduce your position, your stop stays. So this opens a lot of strategies back up.
Yes.
Where for a little while we had to do like, partial OCOs only. You couldn't do, what I like to do is like have half the position in trailing stops and then the position stop to catch it. So this opens those back up. So I'm trying to get my brain back into the other strategies. So very happy to report that.
Whoever did that on the engineering team, shout out to you, because I was one of those guys, Tim. I saw it. I saw the change too, and I was like, oh, my stop doesn't disappear. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Good job. Yep. Good adjustments, guys. Hey, we're always trying to make things better. So if you out there, you have a suggestion that can make things better, just reach out to us, right? I mean, we're listening. We're definitely going to make changes. So I think that's a nice big change there. Let's go back to it. Let's see the charts really quickly. I'm going to start wrapping up here, and then I'll let Tim take over, guys, and then he'll be kind of leading here. So you can see what the Qs do. It went right back to VWAP. Now we look to see if it rejects here, or does it come right back up, right? So you see the rejection off the first touch. Now you got like 3 attempts to go back through that VWAP that I'd be looking for, right? On the 1 minute. 5 minutes going to be 1 attempt, right? That's the fun part about changing it up. On the 5 minutes, just green up, right? I would want to see on the 5 minute higher low trend continue. So as long as the higher lows keep going, you're looking good there. Especially a recovery of open today is going to be a really good level. 496.56. That's when you really know the bulls have control. And this was just a shake on the downside, right? So we'll see what happens on that.
Really curious. Yeah. To see what happens at the London close in half an hour, or, an hour, excuse me. So, but it looks like it's trying to be bullish. I just don't trust it. Like I'm with you. I'm with you. I think what it is that it's just that the market's looking for bad news. Where's the bad news today? There's really not bad news today. I mean, the jobs number was fine. The TSM was really great news. So that's why I'm pointing to the upside, because I know it's looking for the bad news. But the bad news isn't here just yet. And so wait for that, guys, because there will be some bad news eventually, right? One economic number breaks, and watch how quickly they start yelling in the streets, recession, recession, recession. Yeah. Or in the Middle East too, right? Like I have to think the Israel-Iran thing. Netanyahu said straight up he doesn't want to seem like he's influencing the U.S. elections. So it makes me wonder, okay, November 6th, what happens, right? But that's a long time for a shoe not to drop,
Yeah, and for me, I'm looking at ExxonMobil as a long. I have it today, and I'm taking a shot on it because the truth is, anything goes on with that, oil's going to get the spike. And a lot of times this happens in the weekends, not the weekdays. It's something that's weird, but for some reason, a lot of these situations happen in the weekend. So I might be taking that XOM swing over the weekend because it just makes sense to me. So we'll see what happens with that, guys.
Have you looked at shippers lately? Sorry, shippers, I know you're trying to wrap up.
No. Shippers have been holding on. Okay. I don't understand it. This still has to do with the same situation, but we don't have the labor strike situation here. So they did pull back, but they've been holding on. I mean, it doesn't look like complete end of the world for them, but I would stay away from these just because there's just so many other trades, right? If anything, I'd be looking at more like what happened there with the railroads. Like even that took a hit back. So that tells me that transportation is really not where it's at right now. The cruise lines, like you mentioned, good job buying the wife her Norwegian cruise line share.
It was in lieu of a cruise just then, but it was sort of a placeholder. But
hey, I'll tell you one thing. This is not a bad placeholder to have. Oh, look at that chart, man. That's a nice little breakout. RCL breakout. ACL.
We do have on oil, by the way, we do have the rig counts later today. So
that's going to be interesting to watch. That'll be a good reaction.
The rig counts.
Yeah, those are really good to watch for hourly moves. So hourly moves on the oil charts definitely work there. So we'll see what happens, guys. What happens with the Qs today? What happens with that trade? The Qs are continuing to work here. So let me go show you guys my trades today, and then I'll wrap up here. But overall, still looking decent in that trade here. You guys can see it. I'm up about 52 short 350 at 53.34. But of course, if it comes back to me, not going to risk a single cent as I'm in the green today and looking good, right? I'm up 175. And this is why I also don't secure the, like, let's say 20 or 30 bucks right now, because if I make another 175, I'm up 300 something, right? Today, right? And so that's what I'm looking to do, right? Expand the wins on the winning days, but keep the losing days very minimal. The losing days this week were 30 and yesterday 75, right? Something like that. If we can keep it underneath 100, and then when I win, I'm winning $300, $400. Well, guess what? Those wash days, they just keep moving in the right direction. We'll see what happens here in the limited account. And like I always tell you guys, keep taking a look at the limited account. I think it's it's the best way right now, in the easiest way, number wise, mathematical wise, right? To try to get a funded account. Of course, it's not the biggest account, but at the end of the day, if you're just looking for the mathematical edge, right? Well, I think the limited account right now, this special deal that we have, yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it. I will be moving back to my main account. I just wanted to be back in the main office, guys. I wanted to be back.
I was just gonna say, you'll be moving back to your main account, main desk, main everything. The dogs will love it, right? Get back to that main bed, like.
Yes. Yeah. They'll be. I mean, they're not doing too bad right now, but
yeah.
You know what I mean. But it's been fun, guys. Trading on the road is never easy. The one thing I will say for everyone that trades on the road is find things that make you feel comfortable, like one pagers. That's what I was doing here, right? And you guys know I always use my like one page on TC, and this is what helps me. And I try to keep things simple when I'm on the road. I'm trying not to trade 10 different tickers, one trade, focus on it, Mitch, and execute it well. Because that you're not here to, be a pro and expert when you're on the road. The truth is, there's people that trade, like, let's say they go to Portugal one day and then they're in Africa the other, and then Tokyo trading. The truth is, I don't know how the hell they do it, guys, because it's near damn impossible to be handling with that much change in variables and then trying to have success. So try to keep the variables. A lot of it is
making sure exactly. Like you have your setup that you can just deploy easily, and your software tuned the way you like it, and it gets a lot easier.
Yeah, Qs look like they're coming back a little bit there. VIX trying to come back and get me. Hey, I'll let it come back and get me if it wants to. If I want to, I can always risk a tiny amount, right? Like I talk about it. It doesn't need to be like, I need to stay at 0-0. I could risk, like, let's say maybe 2 ticks here, or 3 ticks, 2 ticks, $8, right? And then just look for the breakdown. We'll see if we get it there and see if I get one more return on the day, guys. That's going to do it for me, at least. I'm going to go ahead and switch over the reins to my man, Tim. So, Tim, I'll let you go ahead and take the reins here if you want. Go ahead and share a chart, but I'm going to go ahead and hop, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at my desk, full monitors back, ready to get after it. I don't know if I'll open the brand new extra buying power account tomorrow, just because the truth is that, got to probably maybe start on Monday, fresh mentality. But we got the limited account. I'm going to keep pushing it. The swing account's doing really well. And now we got to start pushing it on the swing account. I want to break the 2000 point. I want to start going into the 3s and 4s. Of course, I got to get all the way up to 78 on that. So got to make moves in the swing accounts, making good trades on drug. I even shorted drug. And guys, I did this at a bar. I did this at a bar with wings in my hand, guys. So if you don't have the app already, I don't know what you're doing, right? Get your app, because I literally did it on the app. I did it with 20 shares, but hey, it still got me what? $400 on those 20 shares. Can't go wrong, right? All right, guys, we'll see you guys like always right here. I'm going to let Tim take over. I'll be back tomorrow. Smash the like. Keep it going, guys.
All right. Terrific. So let me just, speaking of window arrangements, let me just make sure I've got mine up here. Nice tail take stop loss out on Qs and spot. Yeah, it's real wicky today. I've given up. So I was just sharing earlier. I did chase the hood trade a little bit. I chased the pop last night just because some previous times when you get some news like that or a rollout, you get just so much more of you just get an extreme continuation right off the pre-open, and it just carries on. But yeah, I have taken a good chunk of my allowed daily loss, so I'm going to be just grinding a little bit until I get back to a better spot. So let me go ahead and get my screen share going here. I have additional. It's actually an Atari gaming console. Atari is not traded publicly in the U.S., but to be honest, I had not a great experience with investing in them before, but they seem to have maybe got it nailed down. A little bit more modest ambitions, but that's going to provide a little bit more. I should be able to stream and trade better. I keep getting new hardware and everything gets smooth, and then we start doing something else, and got to be on a StreamYard's a little bit of a hog here. So hopefully I'm not skipping too much here. So yeah, you can see here, folks. This is my morning so far. So this is on an ultimate size account. You are allowed $2,000 of loss per day. I was up a little bit there. And basically I've been kind of going back and forth around the opening balance. And so now we're down a little bit. So I'm just going to do what I've done before. And I'm happy to share that I've got it a little more nailed down, which is, and I've been interviewing some of our traders lately. You'll see some of those interviews go out on our newsletter. Make sure you're subscribed. But a lot of them say, like, if you get down, this was even Paul Tudor Jones, our book club. We're reading that. All of them say, hey, if you're down, take your risk down too, right? Because it's so tempting to pile on the size when you're losing and get it back quickly. But it's just, it really is just patience. And I keep stressing that too. Like, interviewed another trader who just had got the funded and said, you know what, I'm going to wait till next week. Mitch, same thing. I'm going to be back home, like getting in that account, but maybe I'll wait till next week. So it's just patience, in terms of waiting for the setup and waiting to trade as well. Yeah, the app works great. And again, keep in mind, we do have the web trading as well. So I have an Android tablet here that for whatever reason, the native app didn't work on. Could load that up. I've heard some folks also say that I think on iPads, it's kind of screwy how Apple scales things. So you can actually run on a tablet. You can run the web-based trading in both mobile or in desktop mode, which is really nice. Depending on the size of your tablet. I don't know how big do they make tablets, guys? Let me know. So yeah, I was looking at CL here, looking at Colgate, and that seems to actually maybe be rejecting. I believe they're going ex-div in the next few days. So we'll see there. And USO, again, oil. That just seeing that oil strength there. So yeah. All right, Jane, I see you talking there. Shipping making a ton because of all the longer shipping routes due to Houthi attacks. Yeah, so I guess that's my question. Are we seeing, I haven't heard really a ton about more attacks since then. So I don't know if it just faded out of the news cycle or if, that's still going on, or just the ships are avoiding that channel there. What do you folks look for as far as shipping type stocks, or as far as other beneficiaries from that? I know also container prices were a thing. Let me see if I can find that was. I'm gonna actually pull up some news here. That's what's going on today, and I'm just gonna peek in on this. This is Baja.com. I like them a decent bit for just a news site to have up. Let's see. So, of course, we've got Ukraine, Russia still. European Central Bank, they did another cut. So the euro against the dollar was doing decently. Aussie dollar, I was trading that last night. It's pushing. But let's see. Where would I go to find out about the container? I remember this being a thing, bulk container prices. So let's see if we can find that bulk container futures stock tickers. Basically with it was with the hurricane, right? Hurricane Helene, and then potentially Milton. The question of damage to the ports, and so I noticed here, yeah, Starbulk. That was the one Mitch was looking at. Zim, of course. That's kind of a meme. What's this one? Kirby Corporation, KSE, I guess. I think I've seen Mitch pull that up. But let's see also if anything is. TSM is just still going here. So look at this. TSM is just up, and trying to lead the others, but they are just not following. Nvidia, of course, always the most ready with the bullish energy. AMD, the meme fans there, and oh, here we go. ARM might be catching on. So we'll see. We got 20 minutes till 11 o'clock. Disney also. Disney has been having some good bullish energy lately. Don't know if they have news, but let's find out. BHC, that sale of BLCO could be going forward. That'll be a very nice bump in that stock price if so. So let's see here. Man, I apologize. This whole system is real slow as I try to get up Disney to see if there's news. But you know what? I think just from the chart, I'm gonna go ahead and get in on this. But again, you know, and I'll pile in with that buy ask. I don't mind, but I'm gonna just keep that risk shorter. Yeah, there we go. It's a palindrome. 9559 rhymes. Let's see what we've got on news on Disney. I remember there was some worry about the streaming prices. There we go. We've got Netflix. Did Netflix earnings come? Netflix reports today, right? Is that before or after the bell? Let's find out. Bear with me. It's on another screen. I'm just not going to... See, I do see a head. Well, actually, I don't know the date of the headline. Thoughts on VLY? All right, let's see what VLY is. And I'm actually literally going to just go in our Discord and use the OpenBB bot because that's going to be the handiest way right now. Let me find my window. See what is VLY. And I'll just pull up a chart too. Why not? What is this guy here? Oh, banks. Yeah. So that was one of the things I want to talk about today. You know, it was in the heading there is how banks have been doing this week in different sectors. I'm not actually following this. Is this a regional? Valley National Bank, major banks. Okay. Northeast Community Bank. All right. I don't know enough about this, but I'm glad to know about it. See, in general, Bank of America. Do I have Wells Fargo up here too? I don't know if I do. What are we doing this week on banks in general? I mean, it looks like BAC is trying to push up. Wells Fargo. I need to look at the ETF, and this is where I apologize. My system is a little bogged down, so it's taking me a minute to get between things relative to normal. Okay. I mean, it seems to be holding the uptrend there. If it's we look on the daily chart as far as intraday, I need to look a little more to see that. Now, did they have earnings, Kevin? Did they have, or are they having earnings? Yeah, it looks like they're about to report. Thursday. Oh, next Thursday. Okay, so a week from now. Yeah, I mean, I think banks are looking okay generally. I think that this. Let's see if I go through that other one. Look at that as an undercut. Seems like there could be room up to 10 something here. Let's see if I go to Wells Fargo. We could already be thin enough. So for me, and I haven't actually looked at the earnings reports enough. So I mean, it just, look at this. It just pushed right past that 161 extension of this swing low. What if I do it to relative to the last? So depending where I put it, Wells Fargo could be getting right to that 161 extension. It's got some ways to go. It looked like Bank of America was pushing DLY. Yeah, so to me, I never look at just the chart. I pull up the fundamentals, so I'd want to learn a little bit more about this company. They just paid a divvy. Yeah, what was the dividend? That was on the 5th. Let's see. Is that a quarterly dividend, I guess? It was in September. So it traded ex-div on the 13th of September. Payout was 1st of October. So the ex-div was actually on the 13th, and I see, yeah, it actually was selling down right into that and then caught and pushed up. So yeah, I mean, to me, that's always a nice time to do it. I think now you might be enough past, because remember, what matters is not the date that it's paid out, but the date that it trades ex-div. So I do like to always trade that push up from those kind of sell-offs, because you got a combination, right? You got people selling ahead of the divvy because they want to capture the gains, and so forth. And then once it has traded, you've got people that'll buy it wanting to get the dividend, get a little bit of a discount. And then you got people coming in after it's trading ex-div and they want to be in the stock, right? So they're waiting till it's priced a little better. Now, I don't know. I would say it looks cautiously bullish to me. But opinions in the chat, please, folks. My system is a little too slow this morning to flip around and do research, but I'm gonna have to learn about this this valley, especially with earnings next week. I mean, looking at banks in general, we seem to be strong, and we're still getting those rate cuts. So everything that I hear, yeah. So ECB cuts its interest rates by another 25 bips. I don't know whether they did 25 or 50 last time. I guess I can find out. Following a cut performed at the previous meeting. So the U.S. tends, this is what I've read, I haven't verified it, the U.S. tends to follow other central bank, the Federal Reserve tends to follow other bank decisions here. So yeah, it looks like we had a slightly larger cut. I don't know, I can't tell from the graph. I'm not going to chase that down too much. Euro area not heading for recession. Okay. Yeah. So, the question for the Federal Reserve really is, okay, is the U.S. Is the good morning, Conrad? It's not about November, it's about December, right? November's already baked in. Now, if they were somehow to actually change their mind on November, that would be a surprise as far as what the market has priced in. But the question is really like, okay, are they going to stop there? Are they going to say we don't need to cut rates in December? And of course, we do have we do have intervening there the election between there. So who knows what, if anything, that could throw into things. Ostensibly, of course, the process is not political and doesn't, the administration shouldn't matter, but who knows how much that's actually true in practice. All right. Let's take a look at how this is doing. So the Disney trade is up. Oil was looking strong, not quite as much. Colgate is down as well, sadly for me. But of course, the one that I don't have much size in is positive. Kind of feels like it's always the way, right? Kevin, what's your take on VLY now? So I'm glad you didn't bias me with yours, because I might either want to agree or be contrarian. You never know. But what's your take on it, if you have one? And what other banks are there left to report? Let's talk about industries that are banking adjacent. So one of them was insurance, right? That strikes me as banking adjacent. And we've got, let me pull it up here. We have one or two insurance companies today. Let me look on my typical chart that I look at too to see if I have. Oh, Carvana, right? So they're a lender. But they're also heavily in debt. So Carvana is an interesting thing. I need to actually look at how Carvana trades relative to interest rates. That could be a low there. It's interesting. It does kind of look like the Bank of America chart rotated on its, looks a little bit like the Bank of America chart tilted onto its side there. A little downwards version of it. So Carvana might be good. Of course, Carvana is one of those that should be a short from everything I understand, but it's just until the day they actually go under, their debt load doesn't matter. You know, the meme traders love it. It's very memey. So, which reminds me of things that are painful to short. DJT, how's that looking? All right, the daily chart. Hello. Interesting, very interesting. So depending on the time frame you look, you can get a completely opposite view. What I see here looks like it's holding this trend line. Whether that's as support or resistance, I'll have to zoom in and see. What do we have going on today? So yeah, it came down. Look at how much it came down and touched. I think that's where I actually drew it to. So that might not be good. I think today is a day to look more for things that are trying to be pushed down and don't get pushed down. That's kind of the sense I get of the day. All right, and so what do we have today? Bear with me. I think I'm getting a little bit of a sniffle. So we had Travelers Insurance this morning. Okay, Netflix is this evening, not this morning. So Netflix is tonight. So I bet you, speaking of sympathy plays, speaking of things like that, Netflix, of course, does not have a theme park yet, but they do have streaming services. And that's just where so much of the Disney investment has been. Now, Disney took some heat a while ago because it turns out their streaming figures, depending how you look at them, could have been highly overstated. But it doesn't seem to have dampened the enthusiasm long term. I also need to check in on their regulatory issues. They had some problems with their bonds. They still have a decent bit of liability, as far as I know, with the state of Florida. A lot of improperly issued corporate bonds disguised as muni bonds because of that Reedy Creek Improvement District. So that's something I have to check in on. But again, it's one of those things where until it happens, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter until it does. But to be honest, I don't know how much of that is still in play or not. Going out to a daily, I mean, Carvana looks like it could be topping, maybe not. BHC, you can tell, is really still, if the sale goes through, it's to the moon. Could easily hit like $30 a share, if I did my math right. Of course, if not, 2 gaps to fill to the downside, so it could go half value very quickly. So let me go back to this. Let me look at Rumble as well. Rumble's more general purpose, but they are pretty popular among the same crowd. They also provide the infrastructure for Truth Social. Down a little bit from yesterday's low, so we'll see there. I was wondering, yesterday Rumble was, let's see. Okay, you have it in your long-term account. VLY, Kevin? Just thinking adding more for possible rate cuts could be good for banks, yeah. And I actually have to look up, like I said, I have to read up a little bit more on how rate cuts typically affect banks because, well, I mean, they're always making money on the spread, basically, right? Like they'll borrow at one rate and lend at another. But I guess I was under the impression that the rate cuts would not be quite as good for banks, naively, because they can't take as much on deposits. But I guess, all right, well, my system's slow. I got a little bit of a headache this morning. I'm going to think about that. But I think there's the question of also how much money do people keep in banks? And I am curious now with the interest rate cuts. The euro has a negative interest rate, actually, if you keep it in banks. So I'm very curious if there's any shift, particularly in euro dollars, but also with euro to USD, if that might translate back to USD action. So what else do we have? We've got a couple other banks. What is this? Texas Capital Bank, M&T Bank. Yeah, just a ton of different banks this week, and I guess next. Metropolitan Commerce Bank this evening. Comerica is a bank, right? Not insurance. Tomorrow we've got Fifth Third, Ally, Regions, and American Express. Let's look at American Express, though. We had Discover earlier in the week, so let's check in on that. Discover Financial Services. Man, these are just not doing too hot, so that's going to be a take a break. I'll definitely wait for at least the London close and then see what happens there. And, it'll be a grind up the rest of the day just due to, I don't want to be maxing out that daily loss. So as soon as I see that comma, I look at that as basically having no room to work. I have to tighten that way up. And to be honest, this go round, I've been much more careful about it. So the only reason I did here was just because Robinhood seemed like a lot of energy, and it seemed to be confirmation with Coinbase, the sell-off in Coinbase. Now that I see Futu doing the same thing, I want to know if that's a sympathy play or not. I'm going to see what Interactive Brokers does the rest of the day too, IBKR. So DFS had earnings. So this is real interesting. DFS had earnings. Oh, last night. Okay. How did they do? Mitch may have already covered that. Apologies if so, but we have. See, surprise 5 or 6% to the upside on earnings, 2.3 on revenue. And so we had a little bit of sell off the news on the earnings, I guess. Because anything that's not double digit surprise to the upside is a loss, I guess, to some people. And now we have a strong buy because that's positive. Now it's testing that down there. So let's look at American Express, AXP, because they report tomorrow before the open. So that's one that we can play today going into the earnings, and it seems to me like there could be a push there. Wow, lots of wicks on this. I go down to the 3-minute. Looks like it's coming down to test this trend line. So it looks like it already has had some of that pop due to the Discover sympathy, I have to guess. And it keeps holding this lower trend line. So that'll be the question if this maintains for the rest of the day. I would, you may be able to tell I'm sort of cautious. I'm sort of bullish biased today. So I want to be cautious of that. I'm bearish on the markets as a whole. I'm very suspicious of the high on NASDAQ, and there's some weirdness in terms of the divergence, NASDAQ versus the Russell. That being said, I guess the question is, are the good earnings already priced in or not? I suspect we could come down to retest this moving average. So, all right. Well, folks, that will be it for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. And I will, next time I'm on, I'm not sure when I'll be guesting next, but I will surely let you know in our Discord. If you're not on the Trade the Pool Discord, go ahead and join. There's a lot of great things. We have events, we have discussions, we have group trading tomorrow, I believe. It's every other Friday. We have a big group trading session, and oftentimes through the week. So go ahead and see us there. And of course, tune into the live trading room show every day, 9 o'clock for sure. And usually, almost always, Mitch does his early morning prep session from 8:30 a.m. So I know he's traveling. We'll see how that handles, tomorrow, Monday, but it sounds like things are normal. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you. And we're seeing a little green here. This is starting to work now. So on that happy note, we'll wrap up. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and stock and roll. Do an outro. Bear with me. I'm going to play an outro here just so I learn how to do it. Outro video. There's no outro. Okay. I can play this. All right. Cheers, everybody.